Hey, my technical SEO guys, I'm ordering a website for a client of mine, and I just want to kind of walk you through the process and through my system of how I take a new client and I audit their website for the things that we should implement now that they're on board, right? So the first thing I do personally when I take on a client, whether it's a social media client, an SEO client, or whatever client, marketing in general, digital marketing, the home base, right, needs to be fixed first, right? It's like the old saying goes, if you, happy wife, happy life. It's the same thing with the website. Let's pretend the website is the wife, and I'm not sure if that's a good analogy or not. But at the end of the day, we want the website to be happy, right? We need to fix the website, make sure technically it's sound, or else everything's not going to work. Because whether you're running PPC or Facebook ads, Twitter ads, etc., although I love social media marketing, the downside is once you turn it off, for the most part, you stop seeing results, right? So that's why I like to fix the technical side of a website and get the SEO going, because no matter what we're doing in the social media aspect of things, at least we're driving traffic organically and we have something to show for our clients, um, regardless of budget for that month, right? So with that being said, I have the website, and the first thing I like to look for is if they have robot TXT files and if they have site maps on the website, right? So the difference, there, first of all, there is a difference between robots.txt and sitemaps HTML, right? Robots.txt tells the search engine, okay, search engine, you can search these websites or these web pages within my website. So a Googlebot comes to this website and they first look at the robots.txt file. So the first thing we're going to look at is the robots.txt file. Now, this website doesn't have any robots.txt file, so that's something I'm going to put in my audit first. But assuming that this website did have a robots.txt file, the search engine would read this first. This then tells the search engine, Google, Bing, Yahoo, whatever, hey, you have permission to look at XYZ web pages on my website, or you could look at these web pages and not these web pages, right? So it depends, depending on the website, how advanced, how many pages, you would set that up. Then once the search engine gets that direction from the robots.txt file, then it kind of uses the sitemap to look at the structure of the website, the importance of the pages, right? Because I'm going to teach you a little bit in this audit about silos. So silos is kind of like a pyramid effect. Starting at the top of the pyramid is your home page, right? And then the home page links to your service pages, your blog, about me, etc., etc. And then your service pages then links to other pages about that service. So if you're a dentist and you're giving cavity root canals, well then homepage then links to service page, which is cavity root canal, and then the cavity root canal can link to cavity root canal in New York, and cavity root canal for males or whatever. That's kind of like local SEO, and we'll get to that in later videos. But essentially, the robots.txt gives permission and tells search engine, hey, you can go in this cookie jar, but you can't go in this cookie jar. And then once it gets those permission, then it looks at the sitemap and says, okay, this is how the website is laid out. These are all the web pages, and these web pages are more important than these because they have more internal linking. So we'll cover internal linking later in this video, but I kind of just want to let you know the first two things that I look at in a website audit. So this one doesn't have robots.txt. Do it have a sitemap? 1 second. And we're looking for the sitemap, and it doesn't have the sitemap either. So first thing off the bat, this website is missing out on some basics. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down in my report. As you can see, I started a little bit already. No XML sitemaps on the website. Took a little couple of screenshots and just let them know, hey, this is what's wrong with the website so far. Then obviously we have a lot more stuff to get to throughout the night, and it's going to be a long night. So let's look at the next thing. Now, unfortunately for this client right now, I don't have Google Search Console. But the second thing I would like to do in this audit is look at the index versus the crawling. And what that basically means is that we want to look at, ideally, in the Search Console, and we want to see, okay, in Google Search Console, how much websites are they saying is indexed within Google, right? So let's say, for example, it's 150. Then we want to go to Google and then type in this kind of this advanced query that says site colon website, .com, whatever, with no spaces in between, and this will, Google will spit back to us all the websites that's indexed in Google. Why this is important is if Google Search Console says 150, but then we type in this advanced query in Google and it says 74, well, then there's a discrepancy there, right? And we want to kind of get to the bottom of that. So here we go. Let me look up. Okay, so it looks like they got some author pages ranking. Let's see what this is. Emily. PDFs. Okay, so I'm seeing, okay, the URL structure is looking like an issue. Look at these links right here, looking very spammy right there. So we want to definitely fix those. Jot that down. We want to, let's look at it. Yep. Yeah. Usually you don't want to have the dates in there because that's just a clear indication to Google that this is old content, and that definitely won't rank. Let me look at what else we have here. I know I looked at this one time and there was a portal that was being ranked. So we definitely want to disallow that. Who is this for? FAQ. Let's see what we got back here. Okay. And then, in Search Console, which is cool, is that we could actually, if we were to have Google Search Console, I have some Google Sheets available where you can actually look at all these blog posts and connect them with analytics, and then see, okay, these blog posts are getting traffic to the website, these are not. Let's delete this versus let's delete that. When I get Search Console for this website, I'll definitely show you how that's done. Let me just kind of double check all of these URLs just to make sure things are ranking that they shouldn't be. So far it seems like it's just a lot of blog posts with just bad URL structure. Although I'm pretty sure. Here we go. Bang, right here. Remember this stuff right here. Portal right here. Boom. Okay, let's see. Alright, so we got 74 results. Blog post here. Boom. Yeah, so we probably want to DX that. Let me go see if I can find it again. I think it was page 6. Yep, let's take a screenshot of this. This is Jing. This is very helpful for client reports. Take a picture and boom, let's go down. Portal / membership website ranking. indexing. Goddamn, indexing. I'm not sure we want this. You might want to put a, block that in the robots.txt file. I'll show you guys how to do that a little bit later. But then simple, cool. So let's put indexing one. Let's save this to my files. Perfect. Cool. So yeah, we'll add that to the report. And let me look at something else. Another thing I like to look at in a website audit is obviously the on-page optimization, right? This is like classic SEO. This is stuff that people who don't know anything about a computer, they know about title tags, meta descriptions, H1, H2, bold, italic, all that type of stuff, right? So with that being said, even though people know about it, they don't like to execute it. So the way we look at on-page optimization is using something called the Moz bar, right? So this is a free plugin that you could just type in somewhere, Moz bar. For the most part, I use Google Chrome for all my activities. This in Firefox. So Moz bar Chrome extension. You can type that in Google. It should show up here, and then you just add it like that. So with that being said, once you add it, something like this will pop up. I think it makes you log into an account. And here we go. Yeah, so when you download the Moz bar, what it basically tells you is the page authority and the domain authority, right? So this is important because for the most part, the higher your domain authority is, the easier it is for you to rank inside Google. So, when real estate is a good example of this. So when you're looking for a house, whether it's luxury mansion Beverly Hills or, two bedroom home in Atlanta, for the most part, you're gonna have Zillow and all those, I'm not in the house for, in the market for a house right now, but you're gonna have all those popular websites show up. And the reason why, if you have the Moz bar, you can see that their domain authority is very high. The same thing with the Yelp and all these kind of review sites. Their domain authority is very high. That means Google trusts them, and they're gonna, for the most part, rank them above any, local website or privately owned website like this one right here. At least in the short term. So it'll take a long time to beat those websites, if at all. And domain authority is the reason for that, right? So the higher domain authority, the more that Google trusts you, the more they're willing to put you at the top of the search engine, right? So this is why search engine optimization comes in part, because if you do good on-page optimization, you build links and all this type of stuff, then your domain authority rises, right? You create good content, your domain authority rises. Now we start ranking higher in Google. So in order to do that, I'm going to bring it around full circle. In order to do that, you need good on-page optimization. So in order to look at the on-page, you click this right here, page analysis, right? And then when you click page analysis, you'll be able to look at the title tag for the page, the meta description, meta keywords, which you're not really, at least I don't really use that anymore. It's not really a ranking factor in Google, and for the most part, it can negatively rank you. So meta keywords, you want to stay away from that. H1 tag, very important. H2 tag, very important. Bold, italic, and alt tags, which is basically the alternative text in a picture, right? So when you upload a picture to a website, you don't want to just upload it as XYZ 1, 2, 3, right? You want to upload it as kind of a keyword behind that picture. So let's look at this right here. So, okay, page title is Balance Integration Corporation. This is a problem right here because for the most part, when you do marketing, you want to bring new people into your funnel. You want to every marketing is to get new people to know about you for the most part, and obviously keep the people who know about you engaged. So when we're a company who wants to get more business, if you just have your title tag as Balance Integration Corporation, there's a problem right there because nobody's going in typing Balance Integration Corporation because nobody knows about you, which is why you're marketing, right? So when you have a page title, you want to do a lot of keyword research in the beginning and then put those keywords in the beginning of the page title with your brand at the end. Because when people type in that keyword, i.e. something that's related to your services, then you'll show up for that. And then, okay, wow, now I know about balance integration, right? So we want to do some keyword research and put some keywords in the title tag. Meta description is not found. And for those of you who don't know what meta descriptions are, let's type in Tim Tebow. I don't know why I was just thinking about him, but this is a meta description right here, this stuff, right? So this is not a ranking factor directly. It is indirectly a ranking factor. So what do I mean by that? Your meta description is not something that makes you rank higher in Google directly. So Google's not looking at your meta description and saying, okay, they have keywords in here, let me rank them higher. But indirectly, it is, because what Google does measure is your click-through rate, right? So, let's do yoga. So let's look at this yoga studio, right? So, see, look, just what I told you, domain authority, 94. That's why they're ranking number 1 and 2, and then you have all the smaller websites at the bottom. But anyway, so why meta description is indirectly? So what Google measures is click-through rate, right? So when I type in Yoga Studio Staten Island, and they show this as the third result organically in Google, what they're saying is, hey, I think this website has enough authority and enough relevance to satisfy this query, right? And the query is what I typed into Google, and they're saying this website satisfies that, right? Based on this query, this is the type of thing he's looking for. Now, if I click into it, right? Or actually, let me back up here. If they have a poor meta description, right? So they're showing up number 3. If they have a poor meta description, I'm like, I'm not sure if that's what I want. I want to do this. Well, then they'll say, Google will be like, okay, well, we'll rank in this number 3, but everybody seems to be clicking on result number 4. So result number 4 might be more relevant. So let us bump that up, right? So they're not necessarily looking at the keywords in the meta description, but they're looking at the click-through rates of the actual results in the query. So indirectly, if you have poor meta description, no meta description at all, that's not enticing your viewer or searcher to click your result, your click-through rate will be low, and that will decrease your rankings in Google. So how do you know that, Andrew? Well, if you have something called the Google Search Console, you actually get to see all the stats of the query, right? So this is like an experimental website I kind of test stuff on, and let me show you how it looks, right? So if this would load, here we go. You actually get to see the search analytics on the website. So based on my website and the whatever content I do have on there, they're showing me for one query, right? 'Cause I have one blog post on there. I'm building it out, but the cool thing about it, let's say I'm this yoga studio right here, right? Well, Google gets to track. Okay, we show them, let's say 1,000 times, but only 2 people clicked on it. That's like a 0.2, 0.2 conversion rate. Well, obviously this is not what the searchers are looking for. Let me lower their ranking, and that's basically how it works. So you actually get to track all the stats in here, right? I'm very data oriented and number oriented. So look, in Google, you actually get to track how many times this shows up, how many people are clicking, etc., etc. So yeah, so that's why meta description is important. You want people clicking on there. You want to get those click-through rates high. There we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, so keywords in the title tag, meta description that's strong. So let's see what the meta description is. So if you usually don't have a meta description, they'll just take whatever text you have on the page, right? Oh no. So let me. Okay. Yeah, so they're just taking text from the page, right? So let's go here. Your job, 100%, I guarantee. Yep, your job is to get. See, now that's not necessarily a strong description. I'll get somebody to click. Your job is to help your company get the most out of your employees, something that's more likely to happen when you take care of them. Right? No call to action, no click here to learn this, or this is what you'll get. Yeah, so you definitely want to have this to click. Cool, so you want to fix that. And the reason, obviously, for balance integration is not going to matter, but if they're not ranking for this, but if I put corporate, wellness packages, and that shows up, right? Let's say it was between that, balance integration and dash wellness. Well, dash wellness has, you know, for argument's sake, they have a better meta description, so I'm clicking them. Now you're getting lost in the ranking. So, so I want to add keywords here, fix meta descriptions, add H1 tags. So there's 3 factors of how Google ranks you higher, right? It's called ARP. Authority, relevance, and trust. Authority, how many backlinks you have going to your website. We'll talk about backlinks later in this audit. But backlinks in Google's eyes is like a vote, right? Now, not every backlink is the same, but for the most part, the more backlinks you have, the more non-spammy backlinks you have, the better. So that's authority, right? So everybody's linking to you. Google's like, okay, you have clout. People are linking to you. They know about you. So they must be somebody, right? So let's raise their domain authority, and boom, that's how you get ranked high. Another thing is relevance, right? So even though, let's say Zillow has a 94 domain authority, well, if you're typing in Jordan sneakers, Zillow's not going to pop up, obviously, right? Because it's not relevant, right? So authority, relevance, and then trust. Trust is social signals. Are people talking about you on social media? Are they talking about you Web 2.0, things like that, right? Tweets, Facebook, Instagram, things like that. Social signals is really a key factor in trust. So it's those 3 things which really rank you higher in Google. Now, let's talk about the second one, which in art, which is, AR, right? R, relevance. How does Google know that your site is relevant? Well, they have bots that call your site and read the text on your pages. Now, if you have a whole bunch of text on your pages, how do they know which one's more important? They look at your H1, your H2 tags, right? H1 being, obviously the title tag, important. The H1 tag is the second important. And for the most part, if you have a WordPress website, what WordPress does for the most part is match up your H1 and your title tag. So your H1 and title tag can be the same tag. And then they look at your H2 tags, right? So if this is a blog article, whatever, we was on a blog article, but if it's a blog article about how to increase company culture, well, you better have H2s about stressed employees or overworked managers, right? Because it's relevant to the topic of the article, and that's how Google's like, okay, I know what this is about, right? So if you're not utilizing these H1, H2 tags, well, Google's not gonna know what the hell you're talking about. They're not gonna rank you, so good luck getting traffic. Yeah, so poor use of H1 tags. Program elements, program management. This seems okay. I haven't done keyword research yet to that extent to know if these are actual getting searches. Bold and strong is another key thing, so you don't want to just bold random words. Let's keep going. Probably wouldn't want to bold all this, italics, and alt text, right? So they have all these pictures here, right? And this is a Ruby's on Rails website, so I'm not even sure if this is hard coded in. But all right. So ideally, this picture right here, you want to have some alt text in it, and it's showing that it has no alt text because how does Google know what the hell this picture is? Right? They read text, not pictures. So alt text is basically the text behind the picture. So if this picture would not load, what would this? That's what the alt text is for, right? So you want to put something like, happy employee or whatever, right? Once we do keyword research, we'll be able to fill that in. But yeah, you want to have alt text and all these type of pictures because that just reinforces the relevance of the website. So, and if we look at the blogs, it's pretty much the same throughout. We'll just click a blog article. Let's get this page analysis up. See, right here, poor page title. And I think all the page titles on the blog are like this. No meta description. H1 tags, most important thing, not there. H2 tags is 949. Is the whole goddamn fucking... Oh, okay. I didn't click into the blog. Okay, there we go. Let's try it again. There we go. So page title, and fix that. Meta description. H2 tags, why employees are a hot topic, right? So this ideally you'd want that to be your title tag somewhat, or and your H1, and then H2s would be subtopics of this overarching theme. Bold, these are not keywords. Italics, alt text, right? So are there any pictures here? No pictures. Yeah. So I mean, the on-page optimization is not great. So you definitely want to fix that. So there's a tool I like to use called the SEO Sprider Screaming Frog. And what that basically does is it pulls up all the web pages on the website, right? So right here we see a total of 63. And if you remember earlier, we had 74 in Google, and we don't have the search console. So we definitely need to check that. But I can tell you right off the bat, none of the blog posts are ranking, right? And I did a site colon. So let's take this blog post. Let's do site. So if you do a site colon and you put the blog post, that's basically telling Google that this is the only site that matters in the whole universe. So okay, cool. So this blog indexed. Let's get another one. What was this called? Why employee engagement is a hot topic. Okay. Employees engagement. Let's do this. All right, so the blogs are indexing. Okay, that's good. But yeah, okay. But yes, I mean, Screaming Frog basically just takes the whole website and it's taking all the pages that it can crawl and shooting it back to me. Now I don't know why some of these blog posts aren't coming up, but it is what it is. And then you get to see, okay, is there any 404 errors? Which there were. And we want to get these fixed out. But the main problem I'm seeing right here is that, look, the title tags, for the most part, aren't there. And then for the ones we do have are duplicate, which is not good at all. Meta descriptions, is not a single meta description on there. And then no H1s, and then watch the H2s for the blogs. It's not showing up here because the blogs aren't showing up, but H2 are very, 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 very bad. This is a lot. Yeah, so I like this. This is one of my favorite tools right here. So let me go ahead and put that it is. Hey Tevin, so I just got the access to the analytics from Lauren and them, so I'm gonna show you how I set it up. As you can see, it's a little bit lighter out. Let me see. Boom. So let's sign into my analytics. Nice up. Cool. So we got there's property. Should be balance integration in here. Here we go. Boom. Okay, so the first thing you want to do in Google Analytics is you want to always set up 3 views, right? So you want to set up 3 views, because the thing about Google Analytics is once you make a change in it, you can't really reverse it, right? So you want to set up a couple views just in case things go haywire. At least you have data in there, right? So I can already tell you right now that the analytics was not properly thought out. So let's go ahead and create new view. Let's see if we can duplicate this. Okay, all right, so create new view. Website. Eastern time. I want view is good. Create view. Ooh, shouldn't have called it balance integration. So what I usually call it, and I'll actually go here and I'll edit it. You want to have raw data, master view, and test data. So let me go ahead and change this to say master. Save. So then we'll go ahead and change, once this loads, you can go ahead and change all website data to say raw data, since it has all the data ever, since it was the only view there. And then we can change, we create another view saying test. So test data is where I like to set up, if I have to set up filters or conversions or things like that, I usually do it in the test data view first to see if it works, and then I go ahead and do it in the master. And raw data, I never really touch ever. You don't ever want that to be biased in any way, shape, or form. So let this, what I said in the bonus, test. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so now we have 3 views. This is what you want. Balance integration. See. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, cool. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and go to the Search Console, and I want to connect the Search Console with your analytics. And then ideally what I want to do after is put the analytics in the tag, which is a little bit more advanced, but we'll go into that later. So let me go add property. Let me say balance integration.com. Alternative methods, Google Analytics. Okay. Let me pause this real quick. So, as you can read right here, it's saying that the Google Analytics is in the wrong location of the website. Personally, I like to use Tag Manager, and the reason why I like to use Tag Manager is because eventually, as we get more advanced, we're going to do some Facebook advertising, Google AdWords, and stuff like that. And instead of hitting up you and your webmaster, we could just put a bunch of these tracking pixels, right? So Facebook uses a pixel to track people who've been to your website. Google, the same thing. Instead of hitting you up and dealing with a flaky webmaster, once we have a tag manager set up, we could just put all these snippets into the tag, and we don't have to consult nobody. So Not only that, but it also makes your website run faster because you don't have 1,000 pixels on your page. So um, we definitely need to fix this up. So let me put that in the report. Back to my favorite tool, Screaming Frog SEO, and now we're gonna kind of just analyze the actual linking structure on the website, right? So just to take you back to the beginning, back to the basics, you type in balance integration, and it pulls up all the web pages that it can in the tool, right? So it's bringing up 63. And I think I said it before that some of the blog posts aren't really showing up in here. So we need to get to the bottom of that. But because they're not showing up in here, but they were indexing in Google. But the first thing you want to do is click the status code, right? And 200 basically means it's okay. This web page is working correctly. Nothing to worry about. But once you start getting to these 404s, that's when things can be very, very, very difficult as far as optimization of the website, because number one, your privacy policy link is not found, which is not really good, because whether it's paid advertising or search engine optimization, you need a privacy policy, and if it's not working, then it's just not good, right? You're not really a trusted website, so we need to get that fixed. Plus, you don't want to link to any bad web pages, and 404 basically means that 404 is basically not found, right? So you're linking to the privacy policy, it's not found, so it's giving you a 404 error. That's basically how you read that. And same thing like this, right? This web page, well, this is not a good link, but let's assume this was a blog article. You link into an OK page, and it gives you the 200 status code. So yeah, so let me write this down in the report that we have some broken links here. Another thing that I'm noticing here in the Screaming Frog Spider tool is that, so this is internal, right? So these are all the internal pages that are showing up. External. So when we talk about search engine optimization, right? Remember the three letters I said, right? The acronym ART, right? Authority, relevance. So another factor in relevance outside of on-page optimization and making sure you're using the right words for the right queries that you want to show up for. So, for example, a good example of good on-page optimization is somebody's typing corporate wellness packages, that you have corporate wellness packages scattered throughout, the web page that you want to show up for Google. Another thing that's good for relevance is linking out to other relevant sites, right? So let's look at your website right here, which is so it is a domain authority of 23, right? Which is not the greatest, is also not the worst. But the thing is, if you want to get higher or show up higher in Google with a low domain authority, you have to be super, super relevant. And another way to do that outside of the words is to make sure you're also linking to other relevant websites in the area. Not necessarily competitors, obviously, because we don't want to do that, but studies, research, things like that. So we want to definitely do more external linking.